this national inquiry going. So, for goodness sakes, let's crack on with it, please.
I think Louise Casey really did shine a light on this, and she's changed the conversation, because up until Louise Casey, the conversation was, oh, you know, it's a general problem. Let's not be racist. Let's not go down this route. She's changed the conversation, although I'm still not sure that the Labour government and the wider Labour Party still understand what's happened here, because, you know, over the last couple of weeks, Jess Phillips has done quite a lot of interviewing. She's not really mentioning grooming gangs a lot. No. She's mentioning, you know, she's talking about violence towards women and girls, but not the specific that actually most of the country wants to know. We want this sorted.
And the thing is, Andy, I mean, at least it's on something there, because when the Home Secretary delivered a statement just a couple of weeks back in the House, she mentioned Asian grooming gangs. I think that's a bit too broad, Asian. What she should have been talking about is grooming gangs, Muslim men of mainly Pakistani heritage, and there seems a reluctance from the Labour government to say that.
Well, I think the Home Secretary probably took legal advice on it. She would have taken it from actual experts, not pundits like ours. And I think Asian is a fine thing for a national inquiry to explore. I think the scope of the national inquiry is completely appropriate.
Not if you're a Sikh man. That, you know, in the Sikh community...
Well, if you're a Sikh man that's running a grooming gang, I think you should probably be investigated.
But
so do you not
No, of course I do.
Lisa, do you know how big Asia is? It's huge. And to say that it's Asian men, I think, is just totally wrong, Lisa.
Which also, I mean, Asia includes China as well, doesn't it?
And Japan.
So, they do need to focus in on where this has been going on. There is so much evidence, and thank goodness now the girls are of a age where they are prepared to come and talk. I mean, the conversations that Kemi has been having with these people is astonishing. I mean, the heartbreak that they've been explaining. And that's why Kemi's been so strong on this, and I'm really pleased. We need to get on with it.
I mean, she barely did anything when she was Minister for Women for years. Before this year, she had never said the words grooming gang in Parliament. You can check Hansard.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Because,
well, no, it's not fine. That's the issue.
No, as ministers, you know the amount of work that goes on in the department, and that's what Kemi was doing.
Was she?
Yes,
so
she was.
What, Minister for Women for 3 years. She never said grooming gangs in her entire parliamentary career before this year.
There was
and she didn't do anything when she was the minister.
There was loads of work going on in the department.
What was going on? They had an inquiry and they didn't act on any of the recommendations.
With the
How can we trust Kemi Badenoch when she had the ministerial brief? When she was in government, the inquiry was there and it wasn't acted on, and she'd never mentioned them in Parliament before this year. Is she not just being an opportunist?
Well, let her come back.
No. She sees this as a political football, not a legitimate issue.
No, not at all. The job of the Leader of the Opposition is to shine a light on where the government are failing, and they are absolutely failing 100% on this. So, I mean, by all means, you know, chuck in whatever you want to chuck in. But the point is, if Kemi hadn't brought out the terms of reference, then Labour would not have done this. They've been shamed into doing it, but I don't care. We want to get on with it.
Can I just say, though, there's a wider issue here, and it's about who the girls are and were. And that is the reason, the main reason why this atrocity has been
absolutely,
because nobody
white working class girls.
Because nobody cares about those girls.
When the Home Secretary delivered a statement in the House just a few weeks back on this, I was sat in there during the statement, and what I noticed was, and there was no Muslim men of Pakistani heritage, MPs, that is, that turned up at the chamber to actually challenge the Home Secretary or ask a question on it. And I think that speaks volumes of Parliament, Andy.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know who you're referring to, you know, which MPs. They're Labour MPs, Independent MPs, Tory MPs, they won't be Reform MPs.
I'm not talking party politics. I'm talking about men, Muslim men of Pakistani heritage who are members of Parliament.
Well, I think every...
never went in there to defend these girls.
I think every single member of Parliament should have been present for it. I think it's, you know, whether you're Pakistani, English, whatever, everyone should have been there because it's such an important issue to Britain.
But it's so noticeable. It's so noticeable when people from a certain background don't come up to defend these girls. The girls, the victims, are going to think, cover up again. cover up again.
It's all too easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, whether you've gone through the ranks of being a party member, then you become a councillor, you may become a mayor, and then you become an MP. I mean, it's a route through. And then if that's been going on, whether that was in Telford, or whether that was in Burnley, or whether that was in Bradford, or whether it was in Birmingham, all these things are connected. And you can understand some of the Labour MPs, they've got wafer-thin margins, haven't they? Their majorities are wafer-thin.
Yeah.
And so they don't know, why are they doing this?
Let's talk about wafer-thin majorities. I mean, Jess Phillips about 800 majority now, so she's sort of pandering to one demographic.
Yeah, West Streeting.
Yeah.
He's another one.
Yeah.
I think that the next election is going to be really interesting because we are going to see, I think, more independents that are going to be block voted in, not perhaps just by Muslim communities, but perhaps different communities, because people are realising that if they come together and block vote, they can have somebody who represents them directly, which is why I think that your party thing is not going to happen.
It'll not happen, will it?
No, because you know the Muslim vote doesn't need the left anymore.
No, and to be honest, Andy, I think Lisa makes a good point there. I think the Labour Party have been used by them voters as useful idiots over the years, and now they've got the strength in numbers, they can vote their own MPs in.
I don't think they are. I think, you know, I don't understand what own MPs means there.
Well, the Gaza boys.
Yeah, the Gaza boys. I mean, people vote. I'm sure lots of white people voted for Adam Shawkat and all those people. I'm sure they did. I mean, I think this is. I think this is a silly hypothetical. In 4 years, perchance there may be independence, but there might not. I mean, it's just a silly argument. We should be talking about the here and now. And,
well, it's a debate to be had right now, Andy, because I guarantee you that when the next election comes round, there will be some high-flying Labour MPs in these inner-city areas, prepared to have a bet with you, that will lose their seats to independence.
Oh, there may well be. There may well be.
It's a fact.
There may well be.
I agree with that. But I think the wider point, again, here is about people who live now in communities. They want somebody to represent them. Yeah. That is what is now happening. That's not a bad thing. No. That's a good thing. But what we don't want is sectarianism.
Yeah. That's your problem. And I think that is a real risk. And our country's never worked on that basis. I mean, if you look at the different political parties in Israel, it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, there's about 12 different sets of parliamentarians, but it's completely fragmented.
Yeah, it is,
And I don't want my country to go like that.
No.
I think it would be chaos.
I want my government to govern. But we do see some MPs who are banging on, the pro-Palestine MPs in Parliament at the moment, they never talk about their own constituency. No. They talk about something, thousands of miles away all the time.
Kit Malthouse speaks often about his constituency. You know, he's a leading Tory light on Palestine, isn't he? Yeah. So, is he not? Is he not? Is he not?
But he wasn't standing up for an airport in a place that nobody's ever heard of.
I think standing for international travel is probably good.
Politics has changed. We're in a different space now, and people actually want politics to represent them, but they also want somebody, an agent, to go to Westminster and say, listen, this is where I'm from and this is what we need.
On that note, guys, thank you for the debate. The government is implementing every recommendation set out by Baroness Casey following her national audit published in June 2025. A report laid bare over a decade of institutional inaction in the face of crimes perpetrated by grooming gangs. Crimes that are among the most abhorrent imaginable. We are resolute in ensuring these failures are never repeated.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
the People's Channel?
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Warning, the following interview contains themes some viewers may find upsetting.
Welcome back. It's time for Real People from the Real World. I've got Graham Link here with me tonight on the show. Graham is a friend of mine, an ex-workmate as well. We both worked at Sutton Colliery back in the 1980s. Well, I say work. You did a lot of inspecting and testing whilst I was wafting the old shovel about and pick, and you was being quite lazy out by, Graham. Is that true?
Like you said, work.
I
did work, yes.
You did work, didn't you?
And to be fair, I didn't realise you was that tall until I left the pit, yeah.
So you've not quite told that many people in Ashfield how long you worked down the pit. How long was it for, Graham?
31 years.
31 years.
Give or take a few months.
So he's a proper miner. Now, Graham, the reason I've got you on the show tonight, mate, is because it's Christmas time, and 3 years ago, something tragic happened in your family. Do you want to tell the GB audience?
Yes, my son Sean took his own life December the 20th, 2022. To this day, we do not know why he did that. I don't think we'll ever find out why he did that. I actually worked with Sean. It was a Tuesday morning. The previous night, he came to our house just to pick some clothes up for work. Tuesday morning, we were at work, no Sean. And he never hollered, never. His work colleagues was a bit concerned. Obviously I was. I rung his mum up. I went, picked his mum up, and we went to Sean's flat, who has only been in there a week. When we got there, he wasn't answering his phone. The curtains were shut. No sign whatsoever. So we phoned the police. The police came, who was very good, I might add, but they couldn't break the door down because they don't need to. They didn't know what had happened or anything, like we didn't. I just assumed he'd overlaid. Anyway, they brought a battering ram. They couldn't use the battering ram for legal reasons, but I was there with my other son, Mark. I said, OK, if we ever go try and smash the door in, they said yes, they could do that. Well, we picked the battering ram up, and it was heavy. I had 2 or 3 goes at the door, never touched it. Mark had a go, never touched it. So then we was panicking what had happened. Was he in the house? How would he have locked it? Somebody had the brainwave then again touched with the flat owners, which was the other side of Nottingham. They actually came down with a key another hour later. The police then went in, and I thank God to this day that I didn't get in with a battering ram because they found Sean, who took his own life. From then, my world just fell apart, and his mum's.
I know it did, Graham, because I remember at the time, for me, being your friend as well, I didn't know what to say to you, whether to pick the phone up or come round to see how you was. I did eventually pluck up the courage to come round and see you. But I knew Sean, and he was, let's be honest, a big lad.
Yes.
Not big like that, but a tall lad, a good-looking lad.
He was, yeah.
Life and soul when he walked in the pub. It would be fair to say that he got a fair bit of attention from the opposite sex, didn't he? And he was just a good athlete, a grafter. On the outside, looked a very, very happy young man indeed.
Yeah.
But on the inside, there must have been something going off there.
Oh, for sure, but we didn't have a clue, not a clue. He'd been to America on a football scholarship, 2 years. He went to Australia footballing, a couple of years. Good job, well paid. Not an inkling, nothing.
And he had no debts, no money problems?
No debts, no money, nothing, nothing. No matter how I delved into his past, because there were no drugs involved, no alcohol. It was just, like I say, to this day, I do not know why.
But since we started working on this together, Graham, we've done a bit of work. You've been to Parliament a few times and met ministers, and I took you to Downing Street as well. And we know that in this country, suicide today will claim at least 15 lives in this country. Between 12 and 15 lives a day, young men that is, because it's the biggest killer of men under 50 in this country. And there will be 15 die tomorrow, the following day, and it just goes on and on and on. But you've done something about it now, haven't you? We got involved, me and you did, with this charity, Enlighten the Shadows. And you've been doing all sorts of mad stuff, marathons, bike rides, and walks, and tell me about that.
Well, I've done quite a bit, quite a few challenges. Especially this year I did the National Three Peaks, the Yorkshire Dales, I've done the half marathon. In fact, January, I went for a 100-mile walk with another charity man, John Bell. I managed to get to 81 miles in 33 hours. And my body just packed up. I'd just gone. John went on to do the 100. So this year,
and didn't you do like a fundraising event for some character called Clive Davis?
Oh yeah, so Clive.
What happened there?
Well, it was unbelievable. He got this brainwave of walking up Snowdon at midnight. You could not believe...
after the pubs had just turned out,
He had 2 or 3 pints prior to this. So I had to tell him to know Clive, because I'd previously done Snowdon. I knew how bad it was, or how hard it was. And he stopped halfway up. He was a smoker. Decided to light a cigarette up. Bear in mind, we were blowing a gale, rain in your face, and he just sat on this stone, trying. And he had a good 10 minutes at it before threw the towel in. And then he decided to do it, continue, and he did. He got to the top. We got to the top of the mountain. It was horrendous. But they did it.
Okay. And was he sober when he got to the top, Clive?
Well, he got a wobble on, but for sure he made up for it when we got back down.
So we talk about the charity, Enlighten the Shadows. This is a charity that helps young men talk about the problems, because the big problem we have in this country with young men is they don't talk to each other, Graham, do they?
No, they don't, and it's something we're trying to push as a local charity, which other local charities are doing the same. For me now, I've got to continue with our Sean's legacy and to get men to talk. Since we lost Sean, I think with your help, I know you've helped other charities as well, we've probably got over £50,000 in 3 years to help save lives. And in fact, it has been saving lives and will continue to do so.
And what do they do with that money, Graham?
Oh, they have groups. We've got a football group. We've got an office in Kirkby. People can come and talk. They've got a Sean's group, which we have once a month. They go out to events. They do lots of things. And they are saving lives, that's the thing. Not just in Kirkby, but in Australia, in America. We are expanding.
It's wonderful.
But it does need funds. It really does. That's why I'm going to continue next year.
So what you got planned for next year, fundraising-wise?
Well, I want to get this 100-mile done. I've had a word with John. I'm hoping to get that done February.
What's that, on a push bike or walk?
That's going to be walking and jogging. I want to do it in probably 36, 37 hours. I'm a lot fitter than I was last January.
And how old are you, Graham? I know you've told a lot of lies in the past about this, about your age. How old are you?
I am 68.
68.
With dust on my lungs.
With dust on his lungs,
Yes, and next year I plan to run 5 marathons, 5 days. I plan to get 1,000 mile done on the bike in 7 days. I'm going to do the Yorkshire Three Peaks again. lots of little things keep cropping up. And the wife, Julie, bless her, I mean, she backs me 100%.
Yeah, she's a good woman.
She keeps telling me, no more, you're too old.
Yeah.
But for sure, I'll continue with Sean's legacy.
Yeah.
And in her own way, Julie's doing that herself with me, supporting me.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing you're doing, Graham. I can't imagine the pain that you went through and still going through, and your family, because Sean was a wonderful young man.
Yes.
Such a generous, gentle young man, and everybody, I've said this before, I've said it in Parliament, that everybody in the community loved him, and I think if he's looking down on you now, he'll be so proud of what you and Julie and the rest of your family are doing, and your friends. And we live in a wonderful community that's really wrapped their arms around you.
Yes, they have.
Helped you raise this money and helped you feel special, and I think kept you going as well.
Yes, 100%. People of Ashfield have been fantastic, like you have.
Thank you,
fantastic.
Graham. That's Graham.
Thank you, Lee.
Coming up next, we've got right versus left. If you've been affected by anything you've seen on the show tonight, please call the Samaritans on 116 123.
Good evening and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. As we move into the weekend, there's not going to be a great deal of change. It's going to stay largely dry for most of us. There will be more in the way of cloud, though, compared to recent days, with the best of the sunshine in the west. It's all thanks to this large area of high pressure dominating this weekend, keeping it dry and settled for the vast majority. Back to this evening then, and generally it's a fairly cloudy end to Boxing Day across parts of Wales and southern and southwestern parts of England. Also quite cloudy across the northeast of Scotland and some northeastern parts of England as well. Even the odd spit and spot of light rain or drizzle later in the night. And so temperatures actually rising towards the morning in some places here, but where skies do stay clear elsewhere, we will see a fairly widespread frost and temperatures perhaps down to -2 or -3 in the coldest spots. But across more northern parts of Scotland, here, as I say, temperatures will rise towards the end of the night, and we could see a little bit of drizzle moving into parts of Moray and parts of Aberdeenshire by the end of the night. A glorious start to the day, though, across many western parts of Scotland. Unbroken sunshine here. A cold, frosty and sunny start to the day across Northern Ireland and northwest England, and a mixture of cloud and sunny spells elsewhere across more southern regions of England and Wales. As we go through the morning on Saturday, the winds will start to strengthen. It will turn quite breezy once again in the south of the UK, and over the hills and the mountains of Wales and the southwest, we could see gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour through the afternoon. And the sunshine will become confined to more southwestern parts of the UK. The cloud encroaching elsewhere, bringing some patchy rain and drizzle in from the North Sea, particularly to eastern Scotland and northeast England. As we move into Sunday, it's generally going to be cloudier for most parts of the UK. Frost generally limited to parts of Scotland, and here is where we like to see the best of the sunshine through the day on Sunday, with some nice light winds around here, but potentially some freezing fog patches in the central lowlands. The dry and settle theme continues as we go through the next few days into next week, a mixture of cloud and sunny spells for some of us.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time for right versus left. We've got right, which is Heather Wheeler. We've got left, which is Andy Twelves. And we've thrown an anarchist in today, which is Dr. Lisa McKenzie. She's nodding her head. Let's talk about the benefit bill in this country. In fact, let's talk about the autumn statement just a few weeks back, Heather, where the Chancellor of the Exchequer, she gave, she increased the benefit bill by £15 billion at the expense of the people that get up in the morning, go to work, do a shift, pay their taxes, do the right thing, and the people that don't go to work are getting a pay rise. This is wrong.
It's not just wrong, but it won't help people get out of the benefit trap. That's why when we were in power, 800 new jobs were being created every day. People, real workers, real people going into real work. Now, goodness knows, it's chaos. They're pandering to where they think they're going to get votes because they're not going to get them from the Gaza boys anymore. And what else have they got to do? It's completely wrong. There is a benefit trap. We need to stop that. We need to get people into jobs.
Benefit traps, Andy.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is a benefit trap. There absolutely is. It's this idea that when you get onto benefits, there's no point getting off, because if you do get off, you'll be living a worse life. I think the government is addressing it in several different ways. They're reforming the apprenticeship levy, which will make young people less likely to end up in the benefit trap. They're adding grace periods onto, if you come off benefits, get a job and it doesn't work out, you can go back onto benefits for a short time, removing that kind of risk of, well, if it doesn't work out, I'm done for. So they are addressing it. And, about that 15 billion, a lot of those are in-work benefits, the two-child benefit cap, PIP, which is majority an in-work benefit. A lot of these are working people, the people that you say you call they're part of Alarm Clock Britain.
Why is it then, Andy, that unemployment has gone up every single month since this Labour government came into power?
It's a wider trend. Unemployment's been ballooning for the last 5 years. It absolutely has, Lee.
Lisa, why has unemployment gone up over the past 18 months since this Labour government came in?
Well, obviously, there's different arguments around that. One of them is the national insurance levy that was put on businesses, and I know a lot of businesses are complaining about that. But I do think that unemployment in the UK, the reason we've got unemployment, underemployment, which nobody talks about, and also the very low-skilled, low-grade jobs, is because we were deindustrialised 40 years ago, and nobody has actually paid any attention to that. So places like here, up in Middlesbrough, the North East, we have absolutely been ripped to pieces. And we're 40 years on, and our young people now are suffering with that. And I think we have to be honest that the benefit bill sits hand in hand with our industrial policies, which has been zero.
Yeah, I can agree with that, Lisa. We come from this area. Both Lisa and I come from Ashfield, of a similar age. And when we left school, you went into the local factory, I went down the pit, and there was a clear pathway for young people then. They knew, the girls knew where they were going and the boys knew where they were going.
Well, you'd look in the local paper, there'd be vacancies for all sorts of jobs, not just the pit or the factories. There was engineering jobs as well. There was lots of different jobs. Now, young people tell me in this area that it's difficult to get a job because you have to either be on an agency, signing up on agencies, or you've got to be looking, on websites like Indeed.
Well, I'm going to push back, Lisa, but I'm going to let Heather come in now, because I think there are plenty of jobs out there for young people, even though unemployment's gone up. But I think the problem we have these days, Heather, we've got 1 million young people out of work in this country. Many of them have got mental health problems, anxiety, depression, whatever, or they're just having a bad day. But some people think they've got a divine right to have the job that they want. When I left school, and when Lisa left school, you just got a job to get a wage.
Yeah, absolutely. I left at 18 and I went straight into work. I signed on for 3 weeks. My mum was furious at me, and I got a job. And I was really lucky that the job came with training. I did evening classes and stuff, so I'm professionally qualified. But I did all that for myself. And it's about aspiration, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's what really upsets me. That, fine, in the old days, you'd leave at 15, 16, and you knew where you were going to work. Well, life has changed. But what I don't understand, and I really don't understand this, people want to earn so much money straight away. They want to have their own place straight away. Well, I lived at home for 3 years before I bought my place. People. What's wrong with staying at home?
That's not fair, because young people are having to stay at home much longer because house prices and rents in particular has gone sky high.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. So you stay at home and you save for your deposit, don't you? That's what you do.
Well, the deposits were very different back in the day. The deposit now, you're looking at £40,000. That's,
But Andy, you're a young man. You're 22, 23, and you live in a poor area of London now, is it? Whereabouts do you live in London?
I live in West London. I live in West London.
Whereabouts exactly?
Not quite as nice as Canary Wharf, where you live, Lee. Come on now. The Qatari-owned Canary Wharf. He's made it, guys. He's made it. No, I think, people who are 15, 20, even 25 years older than me would never have had the opportunity to go straight down the pit because there just weren't the jobs. And, in my generation, we look at our parents, the aspiration just isn't there because the high street's awful. The wages are crap. standard of living in areas like ours has declined so much since those glory days of the 70s and 80s.
I was speaking to
what is there to aspire to?
I was speaking to some businesses recently,
It's
Heather.
hopelessness.
No.
Speaking to businesses recently, it was said they are not recruiting young people now because the minimum wage for a young person is too high.
And then on top of that, the national insurance contributions as well. That's been the real problem.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why whatever economics Rachel Reeves studied must have been a completely different set of economics to the ones that I studied, because you are putting a tax on jobs. Why on earth would you do that? It's bonkers.
I mean, I think what you've also got to do, you've got looking at wages. If you can be earning 40 quid an hour, right? But if your rent is, you know, £4,000 a month, then it doesn't matter how much money you earn, you're never going to be any better off because the rent takes it.
You live in a really interesting area. South Derbyshire, if you're renting at £4,000 a month, you're living in an apartment in Bretby Hall. I mean, that's crazy.
That's right.
You know?
But even here in Ashfield, rents have gone sky high here. Young people here are finding it difficult to find somewhere to live.
That's true.
There's not a part of the country, not one part.
So are you not building around here?
We are building a few, but I mean...
They're not starter rooms.
I think, to be fair...
So what's the council doing? Why are they not doing a percentage of Kickstarter
To be fair,
homes?
we can look at the last government for this, for the Boris wave, the increase in migration. Some years we've had net migration of 1 million people. They've got to live somewhere, and that's put huge pressures on local housing. The rents have gone up, and we've got an estate agent somewhere in the audience. He'll tell you this. Some of the rents have gone up in Ashfield from £500 a month to £800-900. They've nearly doubled over the past 5 years.
Both of you two supported. You served in.
But then, the local rent allowance will have gone up as well. You can still get a starter home in South Derbyshire for less than 170,000.
Yeah, we can get them in Ashfield.
170,000 is not a starter home.
Well, it is in South Derbyshire.
80 to 120.
Not if you're on
80 to
minimum
120
wage.
is a starter.
It's not a part of the country that you could, as a single person, either rent or buy on a minimum wage. There's not a part of the country you can do that.
There are still properties available for 110. There really
but actually,
are.
let's go back to the real world, H, because when I bought my first house in 1990, mortgage rates were 15%. And I was paying £400 for a mortgage on a house that I paid 35 grand for. That house now is probably worth, I don't know, 130, 140, maybe 150 grand, because it got a bit of land with it. It would cost me more now, or a young person more now, to pay for that mortgage a month than what it was.
I'm waiting to see if the Bank of England bring the interest rate down again. When inflation dropped to 3.2 or whatever, way higher than the Bank of England's 2% level. But apparently everybody can forgive them for that because guess who's running the country? Not the Conservatives. But so they're going to reduce the interest rate again. So it's come down from 5. It's about maybe 4.1 now, something like that.
How does that help renters, though?
But nothing is helping renters because of what the government's putting through.
Landlords aren't going to take rent down.
We have.
They're going to go, oh, well, inflation's gone down, let me knock 20 quid off your rent.
Yeah,
They're not going to do that.
Andy, we actually have somebody in the audience who actually knows what they're talking about. We're going to go to the estate agent, Simon Wright. He's going to explain to us how it works.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at it from a landlord's perspective. They've been hammered and hammered constantly with taxes. They're going to pass that back onto the renter. It's always going to work that way. You know, so we've got to look after landlords. There's a lot of good landlords, so they're not all bad and evil. They just want to make it's pensions. If you push the landlords, what they're going to do, they're going to sell, and then you've not got anywhere to rent. So we're seeing a massive increase in people coming desperate, genuine people wanting houses, and then unfortunately the rents are too high. So you know, from when we first started 19 years ago, you would rent a terraced house for £400 to now £750. And like Lee said, when we went back when we were young, bought houses, it was affordable. But it's bad policies over years.
So it is bad policies. It's bad from some central government. We don't. And the problem we've got, Lisa, is if we need more houses in Ashfield, and a local plan stipulates we should get 8,500 houses, new houses over a 15-year period, right? And we need. Well, it might be too low, H, but the thing is, when my mailbox is full of people wanting houses, social houses, I get that every single day. As soon as we build a new estate or an application goes in for a estate for 200 houses, my mailbox fills again with people opposing planning. So, and I always say to people, do you want your kids to live in the village where they were brought up? And they say, yes. Well, if that's the case, then you have to look at building houses in your village because your children need somewhere to live. Coming up next, we've got Last Orders with Tony Delahunty.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're off on a post-Christmas break to the Western Mediterranean, then do prepare yourselves for some pretty unsettled weather over the next few days. Parts of Spain and Portugal will see some very heavy rain and also some gusty winds, so temperatures below average, potentially even some mountain snow across parts of southern Spain. Unsettled for the Balearic Islands as well, and perhaps also Corsica, but most of Italy, Greece and parts of the Balkans seeing a much sunnier interlude compared to of late. There will be some mountain snow across the north of Turkey as well, though, over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
A very Merry Christmas to you all from the Aurora Collection Resort in Lapland.
We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000.
And this Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win it all. So don't miss out this Christmas.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Well, that sounds like last orders at the bar, and I've got Radio Mansfield 103.2 presenter Tony Delahunty on the show tonight. Tony, broadcaster, you've also been a solicitor, a football commentator. Anything else, Tony, you've done?
Well, I went to sea.
You went to sea?
Yeah, and then later on I became the chief executive of a solicitor's firm and looked after a lot of solicitors as well. And then eventually I ended up broadcasting. It was once described as the worst half hour of broadcasting that a manager of a radio station ever heard.
So radio, you've done a lot of radio work. I must say, Tony, you've got a great face for radio. But how do you make that leap from being in the Navy to being a radio presenter?
It's a good story, really. My after-dinner speech is confessions of a successful failure, because I was pretty bad at nearly everything I did, and somehow I was a little bit lucky. And then one day somebody said to me, could I cover a story on rugby in Wales? And I went and did that, and bit by bit I got better, and I was able to do quite a lot of broadcasting.
So you've done quite a bit. You've done lots of sports over the time. You knew the great Brian Clough as well, didn't you?
I had a number of years working with the incredible Brian Clough. He had a nickname for me because he liked to get on local radio occasionally. He used to call me SH12, but he actually said the word. He said, "Where's the little..."
Yeah, SH12, yeah, I understand that word, yeah.
And he was great to work with, but you never knew what was going to happen next.
Well, you never know what's going to happen, do you, in this life? But you covered the Bradford City fire, didn't you, back in the 80s? Was he commentating on that match?
I was commentating and presenting the programme from inside Valley Parade, and we were in the side of the stand that went in flames. 56 people perished, and in 1 minute and 11 seconds it changed my life.
Yeah. Tell me how, Tony.
I was a football commentator, and sport turned into news in a split second.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the one end of the ground. One of my co-commentators said to me, "There's a problem over there. We think somebody's thrown a smoke bomb or something like that." It wasn't that at all. The fire had started, and then I was tied up with all the wires around me and the headphones and everything else. And everybody else had got out apart from one old guy just in front of me. And I was actually commentating live, and I got down to the edge of the stand, and it was just my knee, not my knee itself, but my jeans were smoking and on fire. And I got over the fence, and I saw this old guy just a bit to the left of me, and he had a hat on. And I said to a policeman near me, "Get him out." And he said something in Anglo-Saxon, because it was stupidity. You couldn't get back in, it was that hot. But somehow the policeman put something over his head, dashed over and got the old boy out.
Right, so I suppose that's something, Tony, you're never going to get over, are you? You might get better as time passes, but that's always going to stick in your mind.
Didn't help when a few years later I was at Hillsborough.
Yeah.
And I was doing exactly the same job, commentating and broadcasting there. And of course, I'm from Liverpool. And when I was on air, my producer said it into my ears, "Tony, your sister's just been on the line to the radio station. Her son, my relative, Richard and Jonathan, are in the Leppings Lane end. Can you try and find out if they're all right?" Fortunately for me, and I had a mobile phone at 6 o'clock by the time when my programme finished, because I was live on air. The producer from the radio station rang me and said, "Your sister's been back on the phone, they're okay." Oh. I had the horror feeling of that I was going to be looking.
That must have been a terrible few hours for you.
I was asked by a number of people who saw me at the Bradford fire, or had covered the Bradford fire, whether I'd ever cover a football match again. In those days, I didn't think I would.
Yeah.
But I did. Yeah. But it was a real baptism. I learned a lot in covering dreadful things.
So two of the biggest disasters, really, in my lifetime at football grounds, you've covered both of them.
Yeah, I've covered a few disasters of matches in other ways as well. Yeah. But it was a difference. And when you're in a situation at the Bradford fire, there were complimentary tickets given out to us as a radio station.
Yeah.
And I'd given them within the family. And I found out later that where those complimentary tickets would have been, my daughter would have been there, my eldest daughter would have been there, and my little boy would have been there at the time. And fortunately, they'd gone to another game because her boyfriend at that time followed Huddersfield Town.
How do you end up, Tony, from doing all that? Being in the Navy, being a solicitor, covering sports events.
Well, absolutely clear. I was the head of a solicitor's practice. I was head of civil litigation. I went on later to study it, and I have a master's degree somehow in law as well. But I moved in all sorts of different spheres. I've been a very, very lucky person.
So how do you end up in Mansfield, running a radio station?
A friend of mine rang me up one day, and he said, "Will you come and work for the radio station from hell?" Because at that stage, it should have already gone on the air, and it hadn't. And it had recruited a lot of people from elsewhere in the country to come and work there, and it hadn't had people from Mansfield or Ashfield working there. And I'd been working in Nottingham for a while at a station at that stage. And I came over. The people from elsewhere moved on very quickly. And I got people from Ashfield and Mansfield working there. And I've been lucky enough. I'm 81 now, nearly 82.
You don't look a day over 90.
Well, I knew you'd say that because of the way you always say things in such a wonderful and pleasant way.
Why are we talking about Radio Mansfield? I've got a pint pot here, Tony. You've had all these different careers. Let's see if your next career could be in the licensing trade. So you've got this pump here, and this, not that one.
Not this one.
That one.
Why have we got a second one?
Just come on, go for it. Try and pull a pint. Stop arguing with me. Pull a pint. And tell me about Radio Mansfield.
Radio Mansfield, when I went there, I was going to be here for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to retire and go and watch.
That'll take about 3 months to settle down, I think. We'll just stick that there, Tony. Carry on.
That's not the best of pints.
It's rubbish, by the way. I'll put it there.
Yeah, OK, fine. Yeah. I was going to be here for 3 months. I'd already actually sort of retired. I wanted to go and watch my son motor racing, but I was lucky enough to work with some incredible people. You will know, as an ex-coal miner, when you did a proper job, that in those days you get to meet real people. I've met real people, including you. You're a bully. You're a pusher. I love to have you on the radio. You give us content which is massive.
I think I'm the only local politician that comes on your show, on your radio station freely, Tony. The rest cower away.
Well, you obviously thought wrong. But
expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good evening and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. As we move into the weekend, there's not going to be a great deal of change. It's going to stay largely dry for most of us. There will be more in the way of cloud, though, compared to recent days, with the best of the sunshine in the west. It's all thanks to this large area of high pressure dominating this weekend, keeping it dry and settled for the vast majority. Back to this evening then, and generally it's a fairly cloudy end to Boxing Day across parts of Wales and southern and southwestern parts of England. Also quite cloudy across the northeast of Scotland and some northeastern parts of England as well. Even the odd split and spot of light rain or drizzle later in the night. And so temperatures actually rising towards the morning in some places here. But where skies do stay clear elsewhere, we will see a fairly widespread frost and temperatures perhaps down to -2 or -3 in the coldest spots. But across more northern parts of Scotland, here, as I say, temperatures will rise towards the end of the night, and we could see a little bit of drizzle moving into parts of Moray and parts of Aberdeenshire by the end of the night. A glorious start to the day, though, across many western parts of Scotland. Unbroken sunshine here. A cold, frosty and sunny start to the day across Northern Ireland and northwest England, and a mixture of cloud and sunny spells elsewhere across more southern regions of England and Wales. As we go through the morning on Saturday, the winds will start to strengthen. It will turn quite breezy once again in the south of the UK, and over the hills and the mountains of Wales and the southwest we could see gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour through the afternoon, and the sunshine will become confined to more southwestern parts of the UK, the cloud encroaching elsewhere, bringing some patchy rain and drizzle in from the North Sea, particularly to eastern Scotland and northeast England. As we move into Sunday, it's generally going to be cloudier for most parts of the UK. Frost generally limited to parts of Scotland, and here is where we like to see the best of the sunshine through the day on Sunday, with some nice light winds around here, but potentially some freezing fog patches in the central lowlands. The dry and settle theme continues as we go through the next few days into next week, a mixture of cloud and sunny spells for some of us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
A very Merry Christmas to you all from the Aurora Collection Resort in Lapland. We're on an amazing Arctic adventure to celebrate our greatest cash giveaway, a simply stunning £85,000. And this Christmas, we're giving you the chance to win it all. So don't miss out this Christmas.
For another chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.